All right, I'm supposed to be doing my college applications, but that's fine. That's fine. I can teach trad. That's fine, y'all. That's fine. All right, hold on. All right. Frick. Oh, frick. All right, never mind. We good. Okay. All right, here's how it's gonna go. All right. Now, grab a pair of sticks. Right. Step one. Grab a pair of sticks. Right. Okay. So, trad isn't that different than match grip, right? Mechanically it is, but the goal you're trying to achieve is the same in both grips. So when you look at trad, where we play laterally, right? Everything is left to right, but there's still up and down motion going on. So the first thing you want to emphasize a lot when you play trad is this thing called paddle. So when you start off, you're going to look. A good place to start off, you'll see around right here, in between this USA sign if you have an innovative percussion. If you have Vic Firth, it's the American flag. Around this area, find this webbing of your thumb, this part right here, right? The webbing of your thumb. And you're just going to slide that in on that space, and you're going to hold it firm. The hardest thing about new players of trad is that this is extremely uncomfortable. And as you can see, I have extra muscle and extra skin developed as compared to my right hand there just because of years of playing. So it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to hurt a little bit when you first start. But you got to make sure you squeeze that and you're able to hold it. So that's step one. Make sure you got that down. Otherwise, can't really go from there. The next step is your primary, and this is the thing that's hardest about trad, is that the primary motion is this. This is your primary motion. Anatomically, it's called supination and pronation, right? When you play match grip, it's flexion and extension. Extension and flexion, right? This is your primary motion when you play matched. Now this is your primary motion when you play trad. So paddle grip, you'll see a lot of snare players talking about paddle grip. You might have heard Safik talking about it. It's just when you grab the stick like this, the grip that we talked about, right? Just with the thumb. And your hand is essentially a paddle, and you play just with supination and pronation. Supination and pronation. Try to get different angles, but that's essentially what it is. A common trap to fall into would just be using your thumb, right? When you play fast, yes, your thumb is going to have a lot more of a role. But this is the primary basis of trad, and is what makes it most difficult, is that. So I would highly recommend grabbing a pair of sticks, making paddle grip, and just focusing on pronation and supination. Pronation and supination. Pronation and supination. And a good mental cue is think of flicking your pinky to the ceiling. Flick your pinky to the ceiling. That's a really good way to have a snappy pronation and supination. Right? That's step one. So I don't want you to watch any further or go any further without having this mastered down. This is your basis for trad, and it's something that the snares this year, even though we're all on the snare line, we still struggle with. That's why we go back to paddle grip in the middle of 8, so we understand that this is where everything comes from. It's not this, right? It's not all thumb either. It comes from this. And then we build on with arm, with thumb. Those come afterwards, right? It's like when you play match grip, you're thinking of wrist, and then you add arm, and then you add fingers, right? So that's kind of the buildup. So after that, you want to add your first finger. And the first finger you will usually add is going to be your pointer finger. So this is your fulcrum. The fulcrum it's very important. The fulcrum is not the connection of your thumb and your pointer finger in trad. That's not the fulcrum. This is simply just a way you can rest your thumb while still having pressure and contact with the stick. You don't ever want to motivate the stick from here or put pressure here. Nothing like that. It's simply a connection that allows your thumb to rest. And as you can see, it allows your thumb to squeeze. You can see I'm also squeezing. I'm allowed to put pressure with my thumb, right? Like that. Essentially, it's acting as a catalyst for that. So it depends. It varies depending on each person where exactly that rests. For me, I have big hands. So as you can see, it rests right here. When I first started playing, it rested over here, but I've developed problems with my thumb. So try to find what's natural for you. and what allows you to have a good grip. For me, it's that mid digit. It's that mid digit right here. So after you add that, nothing changes. Trad will never change when you add fingers. It stays the same, really. So again, pronation and supination the entire time. The whole time is pronation and supination. So that doesn't change, right? So, and obviously, actually, sometimes when you look at snare players, when they're playing really fast, you'll see that it looks like that. It looks like I'm playing with no other fingers on. So trad is really cool because you don't need that. You really realistically only need 2 fingers to play trad, which is your ring finger and your paddle grip. Regardless, the last finger of trad actually is your ring finger, right? So again, once I add that pointer finger, nothing changes. It's the same. Pronation, supination, it's all the same. Focus on this. After you have that master down, after you feel comfortable with putting that first pointer finger down, then you have your ring finger. And these 3 fingers make up trad. I can play everything in the show. I can play everything I could ever wanted on trad with these 3 fingers. I don't need my middle finger. I do not need my pinky finger, right? They're only there for ergonomics, right? Comfort and support. Your pinky finger provides a little bit of support to your ring finger. But there's a style of trad, actually, in the olden days where they just didn't, they kind of flung their pinky finger off the stick. So these 3 fingers make up the entire thing. Your thumb, your pointer finger, and your ring finger. And really, your pointer finger is just a way for your thumb to rest on the stick. Realistically, it's really only these 2, but it makes it a lot more comfortable with your pointer finger. So what is the role of the ring finger? Well, if you think about it, if I want to hold my stick up here and I don't have my ring finger, it falls down. The ring finger acts as a way to keep that stick level, right? So, and then it also acts as a way when you're playing really fast to facilitate upstrokes. In general, it facilitates upstrokes. So if you didn't have that, your upstrokes would look like this. But because that pointer finger is there, it looks like that, right? So instead of it falling through, it's able to stay with your hand, right? So that's the role of the ring finger. You're playing really fast, provides that support, you know. And so the main thing is, again, once you add that, once you start to implement your ring finger, continue to play paddle. Continue to play paddle. It's the same thing. Nothing changes. And when you play that, very important, something that the snares I struggle with for the first 3 years on the snare of playing snare drum, is you're not gluing your ring finger to the stick. That's not what's happening. You're not gluing your ring finger to the stick. You're allowing its presence to be there. It's jiggling on and off as I play. And that applies even down here. Right? As you can see, I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. It's jiggling on and off. So those are the 3 fingers I tried. Let me know if you have questions.